science, while it help in planning out your tilapia fish farming process, right now what Jamaica needs is practical hands-on approach and assistance for tilapia small farmers to be actively involved in fish keeping, food fish keeping. All right, so so far I have observed, right guys, several entities, NGOs, organization, groups, I won't call any name because I don't want to be lambasted, have been, putting forward several different ideas, or should I say, and a particular approach in, including government, right, as far as tilapia production is concerned in Jamaica. And I have been hitting out for the past couple of months about the lack of or the limited support of tilapia farming, practical help for backyard tilapia fish farmers. And to some extent, persons have said that I should use my own initiative so as to ensure that my production or individual production is of the standard, quality standard that is demanded by the public out there. So there are a lot of scientific presentation, both by the ministry and private NGOs, associations, groups about tilapia keeping, breeding, trading, the dynamics, how you keep this, how you keep that, the science behind it all. But there's not much hands-on assistance being granted to individuals, and this is my personal belief based on observation and what I've been seeing within the public sphere, right? And the public sphere includes social media, the both mainstream media and social media, right? And what you see in the papers and things that people share, right? The thing is, the government of Jamaica have embarked on several strategies so as to enhance or improve the production of tilapia for the past 4 years thereabout, right? They have introduced a program at Ebony Park in Clarendon, where which persons who wish to become good tilapia fish farmers can enter into a course, or should I say participate in a course which teaches about fish farming, what you should know and all that, right? But I can tell you guys that not much individuals that are interested in tilapia fish farming is knowledgeable of the fact that this is an initiative that the government has in place so as to further bolster the production of tilapia within Jamaica. It is my humble opinion, right guys, that so as to ensure that tilapia production increases, young people or persons of interest within the space become a part of this industry. It is believed that more marketing is needed by the government entities of this program. It's a very good program where in which you go in with call it an idea, a simple idea as to how to fish farm, but they teach you not only the science behind it, but they also have tilapia fish, space where in which they share with you day-to-day operation of the farm as to what and what you do so as to ensure that your fish production is at its best. That is what we need, right? So I believe that from St. Thomas to Montego Bay, this effort, or should I say from St. Thomas to Negril, this is an effort that should be made available to everyone. I believe that having the Ebony Park being one of the flagship of such activity limits the reach of individual to access this, main teaching tool in enhancing tilapia fish production. It's my humble opinion that a space like Ebony Park should be created in St. Thomas. Clarendon is there already, so we would have probably 3 sections in Cornwall, Middlesex, and Surrey. So you will have 3 different, counties in Jamaica. You would have a institution like Ebony Park placed there, so you won't have someone from St. Thomas, right, have to be either lodging at Ebony Park or commuting to Ebony Park every day, or someone from Montego Bay doing the same. They will be comfortable within their space. And the thing about it is that in Clarendon is a unique space, right, guys? Clarendon experienced a lot of drought, so a lot of the mitigating circumstances that might encourage tilapia fish farming within Clarendon itself might not be necessary in St. Thomas or in Montego Bay, right? Although it's a teaching experience, but I think that reality check should be made as far as ensuring that. So as far as the teaching modality of tilapia fish farming is concerned, I think the government need to strategize as to how they go about trying to make this adventure for especially young people, right, who are shying away from agriculture, to be interested in agriculture. Not much will want to live too far from their community to venture out for schooling, right? And that's a typical thing that we have to think about as authority figures within leadership. We have to think about that. Not much persons will want to leave Montego Bay to come to Clarendon to learn about tilapia fish keeping or animal husbandry, right? All right, so I don't want this video to be long, right? But I wanted to share this with you. So you have the facility at Twickenham Park being established, and this facility should bolster the availability of tilapia fingerlings to persons wishing to purchase tilapia fingerlings for fish farming, right? I believe that there should be an option for persons wanting to purchase monosex versus those persons who want to purchase mixed stock tilapia fish for farming. They should have that decision, or better yet, rather should have a structured system where in which one individual is not like sold beyond like more than, let's say, 12 mixed stock tilapia per person, right? That limits the possibility of pond structure that individual might have at home from being choked, right? So that's an issue I think needs a little bit more work, right? Another issue in which I think needs a little bit more work as far as governance is concerned from the tables of the government is that the whole idea of starting a tilapia fish farm can be really expensive, right? Securing just the basic equipment, right, can be really bothersome. It's believed that idle hands cause problems, and if an opportunity is granted to individual wishing to start let's say tilapia fish farming or even animal husbandry, poultry farming or whatever, probably it might be inexistent, but to be truthful, it's not something that is in mainstream media or social media or on the news in which it's readily available, in which I've seen, right? And I'm an individual who look at these things because my main interest is tilapia fish farming and ornamental fish farming care and breeding, right? So that's my main thrust. That's my niche for this channel, this focus, right? So I look for these things, and that is lacking as far as I am concerned. I believe that even a starter kit would be appreciative, from the point of view of individuals who, let's say, they have finished the course at of Ebony Park, and they are now returning home to, launch out their business in tilapia fish farming or animal husbandry. I believe that one thing that could be done is that each graduate could be given a kit to start, not necessarily let's say everything that they need, but that's the basic. Probably the most demanding thing right now, which is very difficult to get, is a VAT or a couple IBC tool. Those could be given to each graduates who specialize within that field, right? Probably a VAT and a pump, right, with 12 fingerlings as a starter kit for them to start off their business, and they would gradually grow and be able to purchase additional equipment and stock for them to grow into something more, more competitive, more balanced, more able to sustainable manage their family, and everything just balance off, right? So that's where I'm at as far as government is concerned. Now, as far as some channels are concerned, and some channels and some organizations, some institutions and some agencies, right, is concerned, they are of no help. And they are promoting this whole idea of sustainability. Sustainability comes with a cost. The sustainability comes with a cost, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be monetary, but it means that practical sacrifice, or being able to contribute sustainably to an event or an activity which promotes growth in the long term. So if you are suggesting that you are for agriculture, aquaculture within the Caribbean or within the Jamaican space, right, it makes no sense each time you have a webinar or seminar or a program, right? Everything is done digitally. You're not in the country, you're not within the space, you are amongst technocrats and academics and individuals who have quote unquote made it already, and discussing issues that is affecting the industry, but at the same time also suggesting scientific methodology as to how to correct it, but at the same time not including practical solutions that is in the field that persons can feel as if they are on their way to becoming successful agriculturists within the space. I believe that if you are promoting aquaculture as a means of sustainable economic development and food production, enhancing nutritious food within the table, the family table, right? That strategy should be laid out where you have a working team that you don't only just talk, because listen to this, you have several communities in Jamaica that access to the internet is limited. And so even myself, speaking on YouTube, right, about tilapia fish farming strategies, ideas and all that, a lot of persons are willing or anxious to be a part of this, but there are no access to the information, right? And this is where I believe that several authoritative figure within the industry or within the academic space can play an integral role in marshalling new individuals within the space. For example, in sections of St. Thomas, if you go in sections of St. Thomas, Jamaica, it is very difficult for you to get a phone call because the signals are not there. So if you can't get a signal, that means you can't go on the internet. And so therefore, the access to information through digital space is considered limited, right? So I believe that having a practical group where even you have a project, let's say you have a project in Bath, St. Thomas, or further into Morant Bay or past Morant Bay going forward, deeper into St. Thomas, into the bush, right? You have a group of project participants who goes out, canvass the area, survey the area, get an idea as to how many persons are interested in aquaculture. It doesn't have to be tilapia fish farming. It can be ornamental fish keeping. It can be what you call it, when you farm, you have your fish and you have the vegetables on the top, aquaponics, right? And it can be in the form of these, right? And then now you strategize using practical, yes, scientific, practical, and immediate processes so as to help those individuals understand the dynamics as to where they're going at. So as a result of that, persons have become more in tune to what you're trying to say, how you present your information. It can encourage or discourage individuals to be a participant, right? I'm a teacher by profession, right? And whenever I'm teaching a content, I teach the academic aspect, and as best as possible, I teach geography, by the way, which looks at human and physical geography. So a practicality is needed in teaching practical geography, practical. So I would teach the content, and then I would sideline the content, and then I would introduce the practical aspect, and then at one point in time I would fuse the content with the practical, and my students will be able to apply content and practical together so as to understand deeper the construct in which I'm trying to lay out in front of them. Now, if you are promoting aquaculture within the Caribbean as an organization, NGO, association, agency, whatever it is, right? Jamaica is not the only Caribbean island that should be a focus. Neither should there be a single, not because of reachability, if there's such a word, right? Not because of the fact that you can reach more intellectuals within a given space. That doesn't warrant you focus on sick within the space to always be focusing on them. Academics alone fully and clearly does not cut it as far as tilapia fish farming is concerned. Tilapia fish farming refers to a practical task where each persons go out there, get their hands dirty, share their information, and each day they learn a little. And I think that is what is lacking in the Caribbean as far as aquaculture is concerned. Too much academic, scientific, strategic, what do you call it? Strategic moves are being suggested as far as tilapia farming is concerned, or should I say aquaculture is concerned. More emphasis is needed on the practicality of fish keeping itself. Yes, you focus on the problem, which is feed. You focus on the problem, which is expensive equipment. Yes, you focus on the problem, which is knowledge being shared. But after you focus on the problem, what is it that you do as an entity, organization, authority, or agency, so as to let the individual know how to apply, if they are able to access all of these, how to apply everything physically. I'm not talking about modality over the digital space. I'm talking about physically. Now, I'm not one to boast and I'm not one to brag about what I've done. But what I can say is that I do sell tilapia fingerlings, and I do earn a lot of money from that, right? And as a result of that, I'm able to say that my channel is growing and persons are more interested in my videos and my shares and what I have to say regarding my experience, so as to enhance their experience. And based on that, I have been called on several occasions to assist individuals to start up their own tilapia fish farm. And whilst I might not be able to physically be there, but I have been talking to individuals, FaceTime, I've been in the field with persons, and I can say, do this, do that, So I within my space, and this is just in a response to persons who may say that you talk a lot, so what is it that you are doing so as to aid the growth of tilapia fish farming in Jamaica or in the Caribbean? I am doing my part, and it's not only in Jamaica that I have been a voice in the wilderness crying out for help and sharing with each individual interested in my shares and my experience, how to as far as fish keeping is concerned. The practicality of aquaculture demands time, demands effort, demands the whole idea of not only scientific research, what is good, or what is that, or what you discover, or how many persons in this country are associated with fish keeping, how many persons in this. Fish keeping is a unisex project, activity. I don't believe one should streamline the whole thing about fish keeping as far as gender is concerned. I believe it should be a program that inculcates everyone. So when you talk about fish keeping in the Caribbean, I try my very best never ever to differentiate between male or female. It's all about the progressiveness of aquaculture within the Caribbean, making our region one in which we can be considered self-sustainable as far as food production is concerned. Now, yeah, that's it for today, guys. Peace out, catch you next time. I hope that my rant and my all that sit well with you. It's something that I wanted to say for a very long time, because it seems as if there's a lot of academic thought, right, on tilapia fish farming in the Caribbean and in Jamaica, right? But that's as far as it gets, right? You can be a professor, a doctor, a lecturer, a teacher, whatever, in the field of aquaculture. But once you have not been able to successfully, or should I say, demonstrate an ability, or should I say, a willingness, yeah, better phrase, a willingness to go out there and use your intellectual capacity to practically assist individuals so as to enhance their growth within the industry, it don't make no sense. Might as well just write a book, present to your class, and just call it a day, because you're just talking to persons who primarily is within the same space as you, and they don't really consider opening the gate by way of practicality to allow other individuals in. This is my 2 cents on this matter. Yeah, so government and private entities and rather have been doing a great job. Ministry of Agriculture have been doing a great job. NRCA, the national, the entity which looks at the natural resources within the within Jamaica itself, have been doing a good job. However, I believe that more effort is needed so as to streamline the same principle throughout the island, not just in one space, not just with one set of people, right? Each day, I believe that one of the let me start again. I believe that one of the main goals for each extension worker, a person who work within the field, within RADA, it should be to enroll at least one more person within the field, whether it be animal husbandry, agriculture, I mean planting of crops, fish keeping, every single month. So at the end of each month, if you have 5 persons being extension officers, it should be 5 times 12 increase in the amount of farmers within the country. It should be mandated that to a great extent that efforts be made to use the platform of educational institution to promote the advantage that aquaculture plays as a pedestal of growth for not just the individual's economic well-being, but I sound like my preacher, but also for the country's economic wealth, growth, and strength for future endeavors alongside the regional expansion as far as sustainability is concerned. I don't know. I don't know. I'm finished. Have a productive day. Peace out. Bye bye. All right. Cool.